What's up, everybody? It's Divine Intervention, joined as always with All Elite Joker for your AEW Dynamite review. We're joined this week by the administrator.
What's up, everybody?
Well, jumping straight into a new episode of AEW Dynamite. We got a lot to talk about in this first 60 minutes of the show. I have an entire page worth of notes on this one match. We'll kind of go through it piece by piece, not necessarily touching on every single thing that happened in this match, but we'll touch on some of the lighter topics here. So first and foremost, I want to shout out Justin Roberts and his suit this evening. Very, very sharp suit. But Danielson was really laying into the heel work on this match. Like, he definitely was playing up the heel role and getting in Adam's face, but then, you know, kind of ducking away under the ropes and stuff. Joker, walk me through some of the early on stuff that happened here in this match.
Yeah. It was a 60-minute long match. And
Right.
It started at 10 and it never left 10. Jesus, you had Danielson come in just a minute. What's going on, Ron? Good evening. Good evening.
Hey there, Elvis.
What's
Good to see you as always.
Always.
Danielson really set the pace, I feel like, in the early parts of this match. And I really think he set the pace across the board. He kind of dictated when things took off. And it really wasn't until Adam kind of had these fire up spots that he was able to kind of get back on top. Oh no, shots fired.
Right. Yeah, man, just early on started on those ribs, and you know, the way Hangman sells, I was legitimately wondering about the man's ribs after a while, because I mean, between the intensity that Danielson was hitting him and the sell, like I was sitting there like, man, this guy might have a punctured, you know, like he might have a cracked rib or something, because like the way Hangman was just wincing, and like every time he would just double over in pain, and just constantly with the stomach, and then with the leg, the arms.
Yeah, it wasn't just one body part that he picked. Like, he worked on the ribs and the stomach for a good 20 minutes. He worked on the the right shoulder area, because that's the buckshot arm.
He started with the left and then he focused on the right.
And then towards the end he was definitely going for that head wound, but we'll get to that in just a second. Yeah, he had some wicked holds throughout all of this. Like, he was really tying Hangman up. I really felt like for his first title defense, while it went a long time and it was a super impressive match, Danielson really kind of held the leadership role in this match, I felt.
I mean, it's Danielson's a natural ring general, especially at this point. You know, the man's got 22 years of experience. He's one of the people that made Ring of Honor what it is, or what it was. And then just his whole WWE career was just undeniable. You know what I mean? And so to have somebody like Danielson come in, when we found out that he was coming in, I was expecting him to pretty much lead every match that he was in, which he has. And I feel like this match was almost kind of like a culmination of all of the matches that he's had, especially with the Dark Order recently. Mm-hmm. You know, I feel like a lot of the emotion and everything that he did, along with a lot of the moves that he did a lot of callbacks to all the stuff that he did to the Dark Order, almost as to say, I'm going to have to use every single thing I did to put your people away to take you out, which, as we know, still didn't work out.
Right. And it wasn't even just Hangman who had a body part worked on. The previous Dark Order matches came into play in another way. You know, Danielson obviously still suffering from that left knee shin injury from facing Johnny Hungy. So kind of interesting that they went all like they held nothing back here. There were dangerous spots on the apron, dangerous spots on the floor, barricade, you name it, within the realm of a regular
Exposed
standard
floor.
match. Yeah, they really pushed it to try to get a winner. And just like we said at the end of the day, the chips didn't quite fall on either side.
Nah, so, you know, I'm going to be honest. This match right here for me was about to be match of the year. I was about to be like, look at this. They're about to squeak match of the year out at the end, literally pretty much at the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
And then as amazing, and I will take nothing away from that match, like that match was something to be held. I think somebody on Squared Circle had said, I feel like I'm watching something that's going to go down in wrestling history. And I feel like that's right. Like, if nothing else, definitely in AEW wrestling history, like that match was phenomenal. They were at 10 the entire time. They did not stop. Like you said, there were so many dangerous spots. Hangman took some disgusting bumps tonight. Probably some of the worst ones I've ever seen him take. Danielson pushed him off the top rope when he was going for that second Arihara, and he did that front flip onto the apron, straight onto his shoulder. That looked disgusting. Him trying to come off the top rope on Daniel sidestepped him, and he went through that table.
Yep.
Face first. Danielson had him by both arms and was just ramming him into the post, which just destroyed his forehead. I didn't like the ending. I mean, yeah, 60-minute draw. Danielson, Omega. Yeah. Okay. So since we brought it up, I was, like I said, this was going to be match of the year for me. They had, even with Danielson Omega, this match was about to be match of the year for me until that draw, and Danielson could have ate that loss. I'm sorry. I know he's new. I know he's hot, but he's had so many victories so far. And exactly like you said, they had the Danielson Omega draw. And just to put that, just even if it was literally at, they do the countdown 10, 9, 8, 7, even if that 3 count happened and there was 3 seconds, 2 seconds, 1 second left on the clock, as long as Heyman got that win, it was his first title defense, so he needed to win. That you should have your brand new champion win at least his first title defense. He didn't lose, but he also didn't win. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And like, had you taken that, take that into account, and then like I said, Danielson has had enough wins and has been victorious enough, and that would have just put that further, like that final stamp on the fact that Hangman is better than Kenny. You know what I mean? Like, Kenny couldn't do it, but even if it was literally by the hair on his head, that still would have been like, well, Kenny couldn't put him away, but Hangman did. Even if it was at the last second, he still did it.
Devil's advocate here, though, do you feel like it would have upset a different group of fans if he had won and kind of set in motion, like just the opposite of what you said, that it does solidify that he is better than Kenny? Because I know that there are a lot of people who don't see Hangman as better than Kenny and don't see him as an equivalent champion. So do you feel like if he had won instead, that it would have upset somebody? Like, are you damned either way?
Oh, you're damned either way. You can't make everybody happy. Have you seen the internet? I mean, you can't make everyone happy. But at the end of the day, I still feel like all of the other reasons being that it's his first title defense. And yeah, I feel like if you really want, people aren't going to see Hangman better than Kenny if you don't present him as being better than Kenny. And
I agree.
That being said, I really feel like they missed the ball on that one. Having said that, Tony Khan is a brilliant booker because he knew what they were going to do. And that's why this match was first. Plus, the fact that it went 60 minutes, you couldn't have done a 60-minute match at the end of this episode.
No way. To flip it backwards, it wouldn't have worked.
The crowd would have been deceased. I'm concerned for Rampage, but we'll get to that when we get to that.
Administrator, I know you didn't actually see this match in particular, but I want to get your thoughts as somebody who's familiar with Bryan Danielson's work and just knowing how this match ended. What do you take away from all this?
I have a couple of takeaways. One, I think it's been said already how much of a ring general Bryan Danielson is, whether he's in AEW or WWE or Ring of Honor, wherever he is, he just commands the ring and he understands selling and nuances so much, and he's just so good at what he does. So going into this match, I think this is one of the most anticipated matches because since Bryan has come into AEW, they've strapped the rocket to his back and he's just kind of taking out everybody and just taking us for a ride, and then to have a non-finish or a split decision, so to speak, it's annoying kind of, because I think it's annoying in the sense that you could have had him eat the loss because he's beaten everybody else. One loss is not going to affect him. It's the same as CM Punk. If CM Punk goes into next week's match with MJF and doesn't eat a loss, or Rampage or whatever they fight and doesn't eat the loss, it's just not going to make much sense storyline wise. Like this match was to solidify Hangman Page's ascendancy into championship territory.
I agree.
Yes, he took the title off of Kenny, who is arguably the greatest wrestler alive right now. But Bryan Danielson, there's argument to be made that he's the greatest wrestler of all time. So this literally just kind of puts him in a three-way bout, I think. And if Tony Khan is booking future-wise, all right, you didn't beat Daniel. I didn't beat Daniel. You didn't beat Omega. You didn't beat this person. You didn't beat this person. And maybe a triple threat comes out of this when Omega gets back. That's the only way I see this working, because at this point, I think that the stakes need to be even higher for Hangman to solidify his title reign now, because think about it. Like, he hasn't done it. I mean, 60-minute match, great match of the year, quality match. But did you beat somebody of note other than Kenny Omega, who was coming into the match injured?
Right.
No. So I think at this point, as great a booker as Tony Khan is, I think he really needs to focus on really putting people in line of Hangman Page that he can really get some serious wins over. So whether that's MJF, CM Punk, whoever's next, straight finish, not a DQ finish, not a non-finish, not a split decision. You need to kind of just give him the straight victory. And I take nothing away from this match. What I've heard of it, because I did not see it in all transparency, I've heard it was amazing. From what you guys are saying about it, it's exactly. So I definitely, it's a match that I'm going to watch back, and I'm probably going to watch it back more than once, like I did Omega Bryan Danielson, because there's so many little things you'll miss in just watching it one time. So, like, if you're a wrestling fan, I implore you, rewatch matches, like, definitely, because you'll see something new each and every single time. But I think that they have to get, like, people get mad at WWE for their split decisions or their non-finishes. And when AEW does it, it's like Tony Khan has a plan. Not always the case. Sometimes you just book yourself into a corner. And, Tony did that at this point. So now he has got to pick Hangman up in whatever feud he has coming up next. Charmaine said, Bryan Danielson wrestles like he wrestles at Ring of Honor. Definitely back to his original Ring of Honor character, kicking people's heads in. Victor says, or somehow Adam Cole gets into the title picture and wins. That is a good point. Adam Cole has said that, what people are waiting for from him, they're going to get it. He's been the top guy everywhere he's gone. So that is an expectancy that we have for him to ascend to that. So give it some time, maybe.
I think he's going to beat down Sammy.
Yeah. Ruben says, hey, hi guys, how's everything?
What's going on?
Charmaine, Divine Intervention, I want to thank you. You voted for me for the best viewer of the year. Yes. You guys don't know, Charmaine Marie is our best viewer of the year. She is at everything.
Yes.
She's amazing. So I congratulations again. Congratulations, former UPR world champion, but current best viewer of the year. So definitely add us about that. She's amazing. So
you deserve it. The only other thing that I'm going to say about this match before we wrap up, first of all, the crowd tonight was amazing. Sometimes the crowds are kind of hit or miss. Yeah, but Texas really came with it this time around. And I think that they pumped everything they could into this match. And I think it took it to that next level. And you felt the disappointment when things came to a draw. I 100% agree. And I kind of am upset that as well that we didn't pull the trigger on this. He already beat Kenny for the title. While I agree that it may be tainted slightly because of the injury, at the end of the day, a win is a win. He won the title. So you were better than Kenny for those 3 seconds. And at the end of the day, that's all it takes to win a match. So,
Right.
you know, I agree. It should have, they should have pulled the trigger on this, especially since we all felt that this wasn't going to be a long reign for Hangman and that the next feud he would be losing it. So now not only have you made him look you've made him look weak, and now he's going to lose the title. So what are we supposed to think the next time he's up for a belt?
It's tough. You have a tough position, and not to like kind of steer back into the conversation, but we waited for 2 years for Hangman to win this title.
Right.
And he deserved every win that came after that victory. So if you got him beating Omega, taking the belt off of one of AEW's best champions, belt collector, the best bout machine, the cleaner, any moniker you want to give Kenny Omega, he's that damn good. Bryan Danielson is that damn good. And if those two had a draw and can't figure out who's better between the two, give the man his W. Like, he needs it. He needs to establish himself. He was always a guy that was almost a top guy. Now he is your top guy. You don't want to go into Dean Ambrose territory where you make somebody a top guy and then don't really put the machine behind them in order for them to get substantial wins and significant wins.
I agree.
Against, like, arguably the greatest people on your roster.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Right.
for me, Ambrose getting a win over Dolph Ziggler was crap. It didn't matter to me, but Ambrose getting a win over AJ Styles would have been something for me. Getting a win over Randy Orton would have been something for me. You know what I mean? Roman Reigns would have been something for me. So give Hangman the wins that he needs to solidify his championship reign, and then down the line, you have a big heel in terms of MJF. Have MJF swoop in and take that. That's the storyline we're going towards right now. CM Punk is going to win that match, and he's going to go and face him, and if he doesn't lose straight, then hopefully MJF will come and take the title from him, because at this point, maybe for Hangman, the glory is in the chase for him, not really in the title reign. So I think that's to be said about a few former champions and currently Adam Page. So I guess this is one of those moments where you just got to wait and see what the booking looks like in the next couple of weeks.
Yep.
Yeah.
All we can do is wait, especially since everything resets at the beginning of the year. We'll just have to wait and see. Revolution should be a very interesting first pay-per-view of 2022. Transitioning away from that wonderful opening match. I mean, I really can't speak anything negative about it outside of the decision on the finish, but
Should not have been on TV.
No, they gave that away for free. That was a pay-per-view worthy match, and they gave that away for free. But they do it for us. All right, next was Super Click and Bobby Fish cutting a short promo about the fact that every time the best friends are around, they can't hang. They've beaten the shit out of them at every turn, on Rampage, on Dynamite, doesn't matter, anytime, any place. Now they want an 8-man tag for some reason on Rampage. They're going to end Sue's career. Shots fired.
Bruh.
But the last thing that Adam had to say on this was that next week on Dynamite, he's got a very special Christmas surprise for the Young Bucks, and he can't wait to tell them what it is. Any guesses on who, what this might be?
I want to go the direction of Kyle O'Reilly. I want to, and my mind is just going Kyle O'Reilly because most of the internet wrestling community's attention has been on Johnny Gargano and what he's doing next.
Right.
And Kyle has kind of just gotten, by proxy of Johnny being a bigger star in NXT, kind of shifted to the sideline, but he did live out his contract as well, and he's done with WWE, I believe, this week, if I'm not mistaken. So there's very well maybe a chance that we're getting Kyle O'Reilly in AEW, and that could happen as soon as next week, because he doesn't have any clauses because he's lived out his contract. It's much like Dean Ambrose and also Johnny Gargano. So I'm voting Kyle. I feel like the smart money would be on Kyle and would be of a hostile takeover of literally the Click. And I feel like that would be revenge for them killing Adam Cole and just what they did to him in New Japan. So if you guys are long-term Bullet Club fans, Adam Cole was kicked out of the Bullet Club unceremoniously, kicked
in
in
a
the face, much
blaze
like
of
AJ.
just blaze of I would say they beat
A
down
la
AJ too.
AJ, same deal with Adam Cole, and then they killed him off in BTE when he
They
went
did
to
Finn
WWE.
too, didn't they?
Yeah, they did.
I was about to say, I thought that was the whole rite of passage when you leave when the leaders leave the Bullet Club, they have to get beat to
you get
hell.
jumped out. You get jumped out. It's a gang. Like, let's just be honest, it's a gang. You get jumped in, you get jumped out. You know what I mean? So
I've got a Bullet Club vest, bro. It is.
I miss those Bullet Club shirts. I'm not even gonna lie. I really want a Bullet Club shirt for Christmas. So y'all hear my Christmas list right now. Like, all y'all wonderful fans, get us Bullet Club gear, okay? So we can go to New Japan. Like, literally, I need to go to Japan. Like,
I'll
next
show you
year,
my vest next time.
Oh,
it's sick.
I might go down there. You might have to show me where you got that.
Yeah, bro. I've had it for a couple of years now, so yeah. But yeah, good promo. I'm excited for the tag. It's gonna be fun. You got a bunch of great guys in the ring. I'm glad to see Trent getting back too. So I'm super excited to see how he does, especially since they threatened Sue. Can't be threatening Sue. You know, she's the most over person in AEW right now. Yeah. Excited for that. It's going to be a night of tag matches, big tag matches.
Yeah, it seems like the tag is definitely the theme of Rampage coming up. Sue must be protected at all costs. That's all I'll say.
Sue and her van.
I agree. Kyle O'Reilly is probably the transitional move. I mean, they have kind of mastered the art of saying without saying who's coming, you know, leaving enough sprinkles of clues, or, you know, winking but not winking at the camera that, you know, we know who's coming. Not until Mega gets back. Yeah, I agree. I don't think that the turn
is going down.
Yep, the turn won't be immediate, but definitely laying the groundwork. Maybe Revolution time. Could be pretty
I feel like Victor's onto something, because he goes, not until Omega comes back, and then Cole, Fish, and O'Reilly turn on the super click. I feel like that's a perfect angle. I feel like with Kenny coming back in, like, I think that you could establish Adam Cole as a new heel, like super heel, if that's where the direction you're going, and obviously before you lead back over, because that's what you were doing with Kenny before Kenny left. Very sympathetically, very empathetically said, "Hey, Hanger, you won this. It's about you. I've lost my title. I got to go figure some things out. I'm gonna go over here, take care of the clique." And you stuck it to the Bucks. He wasn't talking to Adam Cole, but Adam Cole answered. These are the little nuances, and as you were saying, Divine Intervention, they know how to plant seeds in AEW. They really know how to give us really foresight into what they're going to do later. Yeah. So that might be a really great idea. Great idea.
Yeah, never know. Just always looking ahead. Well, we've got some more things to detail and go over here for the AEW Dynamite review. I'm Divine Intervention, All Elite Joker, and the Administrator. We'll be right back after these messages.
But like Mandy, right now Mandy's hot. You know what I mean? And I don't mean physically, because I can see the boys going, drool coming out your mouth. But clean the spit up, you nasty. I want to say thank you for watching us, but awful. Hold on.
That champ is here. Yes, girl. Let them know.
I can't go any.
DC, thanks for checking in as well, man. I wondered lately what's going on with Scorpio Sky. They may have been awesome telling he needs to be pushed. Absolutely. And he's one of the guys that was like, yo, when you coming over to AEW, when you're going to, turn the page and become an AEW guy. And it's like, it just took, and I ain't gonna lie, it took Punk for me. Like, I was turning the page on it, but I'm a big guy. You know what I mean? And let me put that in perspective. Like, okay, here's your company, but your biggest star was who? Chris Jericho? I love Chris Jericho. Some would say he's on the Mount Rushmore of professional wrestling. Okay, I wouldn't put him there, but a lot of people have him there. But I still put him on a very high pedestal. But he was your biggest star. right? So he can't be your biggest star. So they needed other guys. Moxley gave him a slight push, but let's be real. Although it's a hashtag Dean Ambrose guy, Dean Ambrose isn't quite pushing the needle also. Punk, Bryan, Bray, those guys push your needle, and those guys can help anybody else get over.
Welcome back. This is Divine Intervention and All Elite Joker with the Administrator going over All Elite Wrestling's Wednesday night Dynamite. Ruben brought up a great point during the commercial break. I too also miss the face Young Bucks and Kenny. Fortunately, though, their sense of style has not changed, whether they come out of one ramp or the other, always dressing up in the very best. Next up, we've got a pretty short match. Warlow versus Matt Seidel went pretty much as well as you would have expected. Wardlow came down to the ring, ready to go. Matt Seidel already out there, and he just shut him down. Like, Matt got a kick in, and then it was pretty much power slams and then hitting the finish. Now, the only thing that I will say is I need Wardlow to beat the crap out of Shawn Spears. That's it.
So that wasn't a match. That was a murder. Yes, I know. Got a little bit of offense in, but then Wardlow did the Wardlow thing. He caught him mid-leg lariat. And I don't know if I've ever seen anybody catch somebody in the middle of a leg lariat. Like, it was such a cool visual because his foot was against his face. Like, he kicked him and like Wardlow's head was cocked to the side, but he grabbed his leg and his torso while he's like in midair, basically like grabbed this man in a cradle with his foot. And it's like, he just gets kicked in the side of the face and is like, I'm going to kill you now. And he just slams him down and then just starts power bombing the ever-loving hell out of him. And then, of course, Spears, like, I love this dynamic because, yes, I also really want him to beat the crap out of Spears. Like, I need that to happen, and it will happen. But I love this slow Wardlow, like, face turn that's happening because, like, and I don't even know if I call it a face turn, but, like, just him separating away from MJF because just him power bombing, and of course the crowd doing their one more time thing, and then you have Spears hop on the mic, buddy, he's dead. Just go ahead and pin him, and then the crowd's booing and saying one more time, and of course Wardlow gives it to him one more time just to be like you, and then the pin, like, and then just for Spears to hop in at the end and be like, hey man, you went one too many. It was okay. It was already done. It's a bit excessive. And then hands him the mic and like, hold this, hands them the mic and then beats Seidel with the chair some more. The comedic prowess of Shawn Spears is underappreciated sometimes, but like,
there's a lot about Shawn Spears that's underappreciated, if we're being honest.
The man's solid. Like, he's a great worker. Like, he's not been received the best in either promotion he's been part of, but you can not take away from the man's ability in the ring and his comedic. He's a very good comedic. Like, he's like a comedic badass, and I don't know if there's a name for that, but he plays that role very well. And I feel like when they put him in that sort of slot where it's not too comedic, but not trying to take him like too seriously, I feel like that's the perfect spot for him.
Right.
And
where he is.
Where he's at right now is perfect, I feel like.
I agree. You made an interesting comment, and I'm going to kind of toss it out there and see what the administrator thinks, since he's got a different perspective on it. So during the show, Joker made a comment that it is kind of akin to almost an RK Bro situation where you have these very two parallel figures that are forced to work together and come together in a particular way. Obviously some similarities, they're not exactly the same, but I can see where Joker's kind of drawing the parallel. What do you think?
First and foremost, I want to agree with Joker about just how organically Wardlow has gotten over. Like, just organically being pulled away from MJF and pulled away from the Pinnacle, and he's kind of moving into face territory and getting that natural face reaction. And he's a big guy that moves like a cruiserweight, and I love seeing his stuff. He's amazing.
Mhm.
He reminds me, and I'm a huge Dragon Ball Z fan, Broly. Like
Yes.
literally Broly.
Yes.
Like
Yes.
he's my Broly. And if I was gonna name Shawn Spears anyone, it would be Krillin at this point, because Krillin is a comedic heavyweight in terms of Dragon Ball Z, and he
Yes.
is constantly slept on. But we already know when it's time to put the beats on somebody, you're going for Krillin first. So
Of course.
that's, for me, that's what it is, and I want to see him destroy Shawn Spears so much, and
It's gonna
then
be
go after
glorious.
MJF, because clearly MJF is treating him like shit since the beginning. Like, I want to see him run through the entire Pinnacle,
For sure.
every single one of them. But in terms of the likeness to RK Bro, I can see it. Obviously the comedy, the deadpan comedy from Randy Orton, and just like the outlandish comedy from Riddle makes for like really great team. Wardlow is sort of in the role of Randy Orton. He is not funny, but there are times where he is really funny without even trying to be. Shawn
Yeah.
Spears more like Riddle in terms of being comfortable doing comedy wrestling and comedy spots, and he's not afraid to embarrass himself, nor is he afraid to put himself over, which is what he did tonight with the chair. So it's like, yo, Wardlow, stop. Too much, buddy. Slow it down. Then get in the ring, take the chair, and whoop Matt Seidel's ass even more. Completely hilarious. And it, like, you could visually see how it pissed Wardlow off. Like,
Yep.
you stopped my shit for you. Come on, bro. So I literally think that they're going to break up, and I think same with RK Bro. We already know RK Bro is going for a breakup, but hopefully Wardlow and Shawn Spears happens a whole lot faster, and like the crowd is like another power bomb, and he just keeps going and keeps going and keeps going, like maybe up to 100, because that's what's, matter of fact, 10, because that's Shawn Spears' favorite number.
You know
10.
he's gonna go to 10.
10.
He's been working
10.
on it.
Okay,
Like,
and for you smart fans, yes, I did 10. Same number as Royal Rumble, 10.
oh, you know he's gonna do it. You know
He's
he's
gonna
gonna,
do
and like for me, like I love the similarities, but I also love the differences, because with RK Bro, you kind of have that sense where Randy kind of likes Riddle, like just a little bit, not like a lot, but like he's like, the kid's all right. He gets on my damn nerves, but the kid's all right.
Mhm.
Whereas with Wardlow and Spears, Wardlow literally looks like he wants to choke the man at any given moment, and it's hilarious. That's what adds to the hilarity of their situation, because it's just like every time Spears moves, talks, does anything, Wardlow just exists. Wardlow just has this like, I detest you and I want to strangle you with my bare hands look on his face, and it is hilarious.
It's like having a person you really don't like and they breathe, and it's like, why are you breathing so loud? You know what I mean? So it's sort of like that. Victor says Shawn Spears is AEW's Dolph Ziggler.
That's a hot take. That's an
a
interesting
hot-
take.
I hate doing that, because
It's not about comparing apples to oranges.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I feel like there are similarities between the position that they are in.
I was about to say their role in the company, I would
Are
say
they gatekeepers?
is,
Are they both gatekeepers? Sure, they're both gatekeepers. Can I see Shawn Spears winning a title at this point? Yes, I can. Can I see Dolph Ziggler winning a title at this point? No, I can't. I mean, at this point, there are. I feel like there are certain. Dolph has done everything. Let's just say this. Dolph has done everything in the wrestling business there is to do. He has been a world champion. He has been a tag champion. He's been an IC champion. He's been a US champion. There is really nothing more for him to do with right out his contract.
Been in the Spirit Squad.
Exactly. Spirit Squad. He's a groupie too. So, like, I mean, he's done everything that you could imagine doing as a superstar. Shawn Spears hasn't scratched the surface of how high he can go on a totem pole. So I wouldn't exactly say that he's in the same spot. But similarly to Dolph Ziggler, he's in a spot where he's putting people over for now and helping people in the back. And he's a veteran too. So, I mean, I would love for Shawn Spears to teach me anything. You know what I mean? He's a vet. He knows what he's doing in the ring. He's helped train his wife. He's helped train countless other people. as
Right.
well. So, I mean, I don't think that his career is over quite yet, and his like ability to win titles and championships is over quite yet. But
Right.
he's with the Pinnacle right now, which is elevating him. But then when he goes on his own again, because he started as the chairman by himself, and as soon as the match with Cody happened, that was it for the chairman character. It really didn't hit anymore. You know what I mean? So
Right.
we'll see.
Yeah, it's hard. It's hard when it comes to Sean Spears because I feel like he's kind of been slotted in these very specific roles that have suited him for a short period of time, but
Exactly.
there hasn't really been anything yet for him to do long term outside of what he's obviously doing with the Pinnacle right now. So, yeah, all we can do is wait and see. But I kind of agree with everything that you guys said. Definitely a gatekeeper and definitely in a position to put some people over, and one of those people is probably going to be Wardlow. Next up, just a brief promo promoting a submissions match on Rampage between Ty Conte and Penelope Ford. I'm gonna be honest. I didn't think I wanted to see any more of these two groups kind of coming together because Ty Conte, Anna Jay, the Bunny, and Penelope Ford have all kind of been buzzing around each other for the better part of a month now. And not all of the matches have been good. However, with this being a submissions match, I'm hoping that this will kind of take this feud to the next level. Ty Conte being obviously a martial arts specialist, and Penelope Ford just being very, very talented between the ropes. I think she's also another understated talent on the AEW roster that, you know, she's always very solid in whatever she does, but there's not been a thing for her that's kind of made her click with the people the way that Penelope Ford, or not Penelope Ford, the way that like Ty Conte and Anna Jay or whatever have connected with the audience. She says she's going to leave the Nux at home. You guys think she'll actually fight fair or perhaps some interference?
I mean, Conti's a Olympic judoka, so this should not be a very long match. Hopefully. Precisely. She never leaves the Nux at home. I mean, if she leaves them at home, Blade's going to bring him, or Bunny's going to bring him, somebody's going to bring him. But yeah, I didn't think I wanted anything else with these pairings as well, but I feel like this definitely plays into Conti's strengths, and it's going to help elevate her even more. I like what you said about Penelope. Penelope is a little bit more of one of the more underrated females in the division. The woman helped really carry the, empty arena era. Like we saw Penelope before, probably more than literally anybody. And that includes Shida, who was our champion at the time. She grew leaps and bounds, not only with her in-ring ability, but also with her character work. So I'm actually excited to see this match. Yeah, and I think it's gonna be cool because I don't think we've had a submissions match yet.
No, not, and that's just in general. So I'm happy that they are doing a first with the women this go round. Very happy to see that. Every week, as much as we talk about how the women's division is not on the same level as the men's, I think every week that they continue to try new things like more promos, more interactions between the female superstars to kind of build these bonds and giving them, company firsts. Those are the building blocks that you need to kind of build up this division that desperately needs it.
Agreed.
I think anything that just a slight comment about the women's division in AEW or any women's division across wrestling. I think anything that the men can do, the women want to do better and sometimes can do better. They just deserve and need a platform from the people in the back to be able to do it. Right. Now, a submission match typically goes to the male superstars. That it's first in AEW and then also first for the women. I think it's a great opportunity for both Tay Conti and also Penelope Ford. It's going to do wonders for both of them. Look at what happened with Thunder Rosa and Britt Baker. That their match made them both. So there is, there's a science to giving women time in the ring to work at a pace that's comfortable for them, and it creates magic. So I was originally going to say I don't give a shit about this match. That was literally when you guys started talking about it. And then I really had to like really stop being such a closed-minded person, because I do love women's wrestling, and I love wrestling in general. So give these women some time. I'm not saying like 30 minutes, but maybe 10 minutes to get this submission match done. Have Tay win, but have Penelope show what brought her to the dance in the first place. Like, unsung heroes, Penelope Ford, an unsung hero of AEW, deserves her flowers while she could still smell them, or while she's still with the company. Right. So give her flowers, you know. Do I see her being AEW Women's Champion anytime soon? Probably not. But
TBS
elevate
champion,
your women.
Maybe TBS champion.
Maybe.
Yeah, we didn't really talk about that at all this go round. Not much mentioned on the show, but I think that this belt is going to bring something else to the women's division that is lacking. You know, you kind of have the upper echelon, like your Britt Bakers and your, you know, Thunder Rosas of the. I'd even put Serena Deeb in that conversation, because she is a super talented female superstar. But I think by having a championship, I don't want to say like lesser than or anything like that. I don't
mid-card.
Yeah, I hate all those terms.
But we hate the terms, but it's the only thing that fits at this point. It's not the belt, but it's a lesser version of the belt. It's something that you get, and then that puts everybody on notice that you're capable of holding the championship, and then also potentially projecting you to the next level, which is a world championship. And that was why the IC championship of the US championship belts were created. Who is a steady set of hands that we could place these things into that one day will elevate to main event status?
Right.
Because that title slot definitely, you know, we talk about gatekeepers all the time as particular wrestlers, but those titles, like you said, like the IC championship and the United States championship, you know, Jesus, I can't words tonight. But like those mid-card championships are those like gatekeeper titles that really help gauge who is ready for the larger championships. Because if you can't handle the mid-card, let's call it what it is, the mid-card championship, you definitely can't handle the top championship.
Exactly. And you're not going to put all the women all at once into the main event scene. Like, honestly, like we've mentioned 4 women. We've mentioned Shida, we've mentioned Serena Deeb, we've mentioned Thunder Rosa, and we've mentioned Britt Baker as 4 of the elite women in AEW. There are some women, Red Velvet, arguably a really great talent. Is she ready for a main event title run? No. Chris's favorite woman,
Jade
Cargill. There's arguments that she could hold that belt, and they're trying to put the rocket to her back. Is she ready for a main event slot, a main event match against any of the 4 women we've mentioned? No. And she's still green. She still needs work. They are working with a lot of homegrown new talent, so give them time to develop. Put a belt in the middle between nothing and having something like big, just so they can aspire to that. Like, okay, well, you're seeing like Tay Conte. She took Britt Baker. Realistically, we knew she was going to beat Britt Baker. Took Britt Baker technically to her limit. It was a great match. Did anybody believe she was going to drop the belt to her? No. That match made us believe. But TBS title, maybe that's something she could hold and then come back and challenge again for it at a later date. You know what I mean? This is all a jumping platform for these women, and I feel like AEW doesn't get enough credit for what they're doing with their women's division, because it's a lot of really good stuff that they're doing, and I'm really excited to see what happens with this TBS title and potentially maybe a set of tag titles. I mean, not every idea is bad. Victor says, and that's why we need a rematch between Thunder Rosa and DMD in a steel cage for the title. It's definitely soon coming.
I'm 100% on for that.
I want it. I want it. I want it. I need it.
Yes.
I need it. I need it.
I need.
Exactly. It's one of those things. Like, you can't get it. Like, I don't want to keep using the words that are coming out of my mouth to express my excitement and want for this match, but it's just there are just some things that a person needs for Christmas, and this match, if you put this in like a Christmas stocking and say, "Hey, this is for you," be amazing. But they're not going to do that. Probably Revolution. Like hopefully
probably at Revolution. Hopefully, I think at that point it will be time to kind of transition to a new champion, and I think that a steel cage is definitely a great next level for them. Obviously, with the lights out match that set the precedence between them, and I don't know if just a regular match is going to cut it. So steel cage, I think, is perfect to keep outside interference out. Hopefully, I know they're Reba Not Rebels, a sneaky lady, but yeah, all we can do is wait and see. It seems to be the theme tonight. All we can do is wait and see, especially as we go into this new year. Oh man! All right.
Hashtag Big Match Brit.
Well, hashtag Big Match Brit. Malachi Black cut a promo. We'll touch on. Everybody gets to say one thing about this, but this was the best thing I've seen from him in a while, and it really kind of relit the love that I have for his character as he's kind of getting back to what makes him him. I think that this sets up a very interesting precedent if this kind of plays out the way that it appeared. The gist of the promo is, he's talking about the House of Black and the gifts that are bestowed upon him. We see him mist this particular figure after, praying over him, and then putting some sort of necklace around the hooded neck of someone and whispering, "Joker, I know you have the exact quote." But is this like an initiation ritual? Or are we going to potentially see the first minion of the House of Black?
I'm so excited. I've been waiting for somebody to join the House of Black for so long. And the quote you were referring to is at the end, after he's gone through this whole very, 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 for those of you who don't know, Malachi Black is very obsessed with religion and everything like that, and just like all the nuances of it and all. And so it's very heavily inspired in this promo. And so, yeah, he's definitely almost like baptizing someone into the House of Black. And he puts this necklace around their neck. And he says, "Now you are so much more than a king." Which a lot of us, yeah. Where you at, Steph? Where you at?
Fucking Cody. I'm sorry. No, I want to go back. I want to take everybody back. Cody, when he was coming out to one of his match entrances, destroyed a throne, symbolizing he's like taking his name back. He's pretty much the king of AEW, and that was sort of like an unspoken thing. Like he's now the king. He broke the old regime. He's now the king. How awesome would it be that we're all clamoring for Cody to turn heel? And he does it in this way and aligns with Malachi Black. And this was all a ruse the whole time.
Okay. That is a very interesting theory. I hadn't even considered that.
I would lose my shit. I feel like that would be so amazing to happen because everybody, like, you have to hear the boos. Like, the boos are being talked about in Cody's show, Road to the Top. It's being talked about backstage. It's being talked about. The fan reactions being talked about everywhere. And Cody's aware of it. Because even last week when he came out to say to Sammy, "Hey, look, I'm your next challenger for the TNT title. Good luck, kid." He almost walked out the heel exit. And then he goes, "Wait, nah, I'm going to go this way." And everybody was cheering. Like, if you heard, like, the reaction to that, they were cheering him, like, then they started booing when he went out the face exit. So this would literally turn that story on its head. Like, in terms of, you guys have had 3 matches. You guys have beat the hell out of each other. Now you're aligned with each other. This would do so much for one Cody's character. It would do so much to elevate Malachi Black himself and the House of Black. I don't. Unless you got Triple H. Unless Triple H is coming to AEW. I don't see what else you could possibly do.
So here's what a lot of us in the room, what we've all been speculating on the internet. a lot of us are expecting Brody King from Ring of Honor to be the which I'm actually pretty okay with, because I actually really like Brody King. And for those of you who watch Ring of Honor, the man, he would fit so perfectly, because if you've ever seen Brody King, somebody, let me see. Yeah, Victor said the dude under the hoodie was a big dude. Yeah, Brody King's like 6'5". He's a big guy, and I mean, he's completely covered in tattoos. His chest piece, his ink, probably one of the few people I could say would actually rival Malachi's personally for me. But like same vein, and villain, I feel like, especially with Ring of Honor going, we'll miss you.
Not confirmed. I mean, they're
not
supposed
confirmed,
to be coming
not
back in
confirmed.
April.
Right. But, for at least for the time being, especially since we're seeing a lot of Ring of Honor people on Dark and Dark Elevation right now, I really wouldn't be surprised if it's Brody King, which I'm more than excited for. But your take, you might have to come down here and sweep my brains off the floor if we get into next week or whenever, and Cody's the one that was under the hood. Like, my brain will explode. You will host, okay? You will start hosting after that. Like
I wouldn't want to. First off, I feel like it's just storytelling in terms of nuances. Like, maybe it's Brody King, and that would be a very straightforward approach to this, right? And that would be a very great approach to it, because he's amazing. But to have Cody in this storyline that he's in actually turn to the dark side, not go back to the Clique or to the Bullet Club or what he was doing before with the Nightmare character, and kind of take the Nightmare character in a different direction, more in line with real Nightmares, which, Malachi Black is obsessed with. He's obsessed with, religion and all this other stuff. What would that do to Cody as a character? What would that do to his persona? Brandy Rhodes hates being a face. So we know she's not going to be a face for much longer. And she's probably back to like, I want to.
Especially with that new music.
Exactly. So the only thing I could see is like this being such a major swerve on the fans, and just like, would Malachi lead the stable? Yeah, I think Malachi could lead the stable, but Cody would be his ace. And I think that would be something that's cool, or they could work in tandem together. I think that would be something so interesting for both of these men that have put on some really amazing matches together. And Cody, who we've all clamored to become a heel. I feel like it's so much more than when we were clamoring for Kenny to go back to being the cleaner. That's how much we want Cody to be a heel. It's so much more than that. So hopefully it's something interesting like that. But that's just a non-booking person sitting here in the Bronx, booking from his bedroom. So
no, look, that's an interesting perspective. We hadn't even considered that, and honestly, I think that it's not only
would be amazing.
Killer Cross would be amazing too. That would be amazing.
My only concern would, like you said, they're two very prominent superstars. I'd be concerned about Cody's newfound heel turn overshadowing Matt.
Hey guys, so sorry. We are having a bit of technical difficulties, but everybody is coming back into stream right now. Divine intervention. Please take over the show.
No problem. Sorry about that, everybody. I think the last thing that we were talking about was Malachi Black and just touching on where everything would stand. I think the last thing I was saying was my concern of Cody potentially outshining Malachi with this new heel, persona. But I think if any promotion could pull something like this off from a storytelling perspective, it would be AEW. So all we can do is wait and see.
Theme of tonight is wait and see. Hurry up and wait.
Absolutely. Look, welcome to life. Hurry up and wait.
Hurry up and wait.
Yeah. All right. Well, next match we have that grudge match, that rubber match between Shida and Deeb, Hikaru Shida and Serena Deeb. Since we're on the subject of heel turns, Shida's outfit was half black this go round. She's always been known for this very colorful, very kind of bubbly persona. Is this kind of the toe in the water of a heel turn? If you're wearing black, you're a heel.
I'd like to say that this is her embracing that kind of darker persona. I don't want to see Shida exactly go heel completely right now.
Mm-hmm.
I want her to get an edge to her. I am sick of straight face characters that don't have an edge. Something like Damian Priest. Like a good guy with an edge. Like literally, like Damian Priest is like the best good guy, but you mess with him, he's kicking your head off.
Yeah.
That type of good guy. And we need a little bit more of those in professional wrestling. A great faces with an edge.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I want to see that from Shida. I think that would push her, she's kind of fallen out of prominence since losing her belt. So I feel like she needs to kind of re-elevate herself quite a bit. And, the TBS title, unfortunately, she's not up for it anymore. She was eliminated. So we have to do something to keep her interesting, and maybe adding a little bit of an edge to our character. That would be amazing. So I'm with the shits if it's an edge kind of thing, but if it's like, we're turning Shida heel, that makes no sense. Like, unless you're turning Serena Deeb face, and
I don't see that happening.
I don't see that coming. She's too good as a heel right now.
Yeah, she kind of does have this almost like, half angel, half devil kind of look, because the black, of course she had the black fishnet arm accessory and all that. So I think that is, I hope that that's where we're heading, is kind of a split between the two. The black is just bringing the sexy back. Well, you know what? I will admit that was some of my favorite gear of hers. It looked really good. But as far as it giving me Cruella de Vil vibes.
Oh, Black Swan, but yeah.
But speaking of a nasty side, Deeb was not giving Shida an inch in this match. She did a figure four around the post, down the steps, upside down, neck breakers on exposed metal. Like, Deeb was out for blood.
The figure four hanging Shida off the top rope. The figure four in the middle of the ring. I think she did it on the outside of the ring. They went at it. The axe kick was beautiful though. And then the double neck breaker from Deeb, and then she went up for it again, and then Shida, countering it straight into a Falcon Arrow. The fluidity of these two ladies was just outstanding. Like, they could have a match every week and I'd watch it and be just as excited every week, because those two together have just an amazing amount of ring chemistry, and it's always something to be held.
Agreed. Well, unfortunately, Deeb's aggressiveness got the better of her. She exposed a turnbuckle, but ended up eating it, and that's how Shida got the pin. I mean, I won't say that because of the exposed turnbuckle that Shida won. I don't know. I feel like it cheapened the win a little bit for me. I felt like if Shida was going to win, then she should have just won.
Goes back to the typical heel trope of, not heel trope, but the trope of you want to protect both women in this match.
Right.
Shida a win, or a win in general, and you want Serena to be protected. And this was a rubber match, or that was being billed as the rubber match between these two. So I think that you have to protect Serena going out of the match. You have to protect Shida. So that was the easiest way to do it. Is it something you want to do all the time? No, because it goes back into that vein of Hangman, as we spoke about earlier, doing something too many times and it not making very much sense down the line. So
Right.
you don't want that to kind of consistently happen in AEW. You want people to get clean wins. So could Shida have gotten a clean win over Serena Deeb tonight? Sure. Would it have hurt Serena Deeb's character? Not if she beat Shida's ass afterwards.
Right.
So there's ways around that, but
Yeah.
I think using a turnbuckle does cheapen the win, in my opinion as well.
Just a little bit, you know. I mean, the match, that doesn't take away from the match. Just like we said earlier, the first match doesn't take away for anything from the match as a whole, but the end, I think, could have been a little bit different. All right, we're gonna run through some promos here really quick, because there's not a whole lot to say on them, but I do want to touch on them. So Griff Garrison and Brian Pillman of the Varsity Blondes touching on the short segment from last week where Malachi Black misted Julia in the face. She has a scream for the horror movies, I'm telling you. Griff is pissed. You know, Tony's asking how she is. Griff is upset that, you know, and he wants revenge. Brian's trying to talk some sense into him. Hey, man, this is exactly what he wants from you. Don't let him have his way. And Griff ends everything by saying he's having none of it. Julia is their sister. And if he won't help, Griff is going to do it himself. And challenges for Malachi to have a match with him on Dynamite next week.
You're stupid. First and foremost, you're stupid. You're stupid. I am.
Oh, no.
You're stupid. I am in a place in my mind where I'm thinking of every horror movie and every person, you know, every person that, and I'm going to say every person of color that sits there and watches a horror movie and is like, nah, just walk away.
It's not the look.
It's not the look. It's not a move right there. Like, oh, we would be out. Your girl got missed. Your sister got missed in her face. I am all for standing up to family, but this man literally took Cody's head off how many times in the middle of the ring? Have you not seen the kick to Cody's head? Have you not witnessed what he's been doing in AEW TV? You have a set of eyes. Don't run towards the danger, run away from it. I feel like Brian Pillman Jr. just hit the nail on the head. Just go the other way.
Don't do it, boy.
Leave us alone.
Don't be a hero, man.
Don't be a hero. It's not that time. I understand you tight. Let's just go over here and do what we were doing before all this, which was flying under the radar till creative had something for us. What is the worth if you get kicked in the face and people don't believe we can wrestle any more than they believe we can wrestle right now? Like, it doesn't make sense. Let's just move on, do our little thing, do our triples thing, and we'll be fine. No, you want to go and sacrifice yourself, go ahead. Once you sacrifice yourself, you know I'm going to have to get in the mix. It's just going to be a chain reaction. And we're going to see two wrestlers, young wrestlers, get their heads kicked in by Malachi Black, or possibly three, if he kicks in the girl's head when she comes back. So
she got misted. I think she's going to end up in the House of Black. If that truly is part of like an initiation ceremony of some sort, especially the way the promo made it seem, man, that was my fantasy book for the House of Black.
I could see, especially if, let's say for sake of argument, they do bring in Brody King, you know, as the first initiate into the House of Black. You could arguably do this match between Malachi and Griff and then have it lead into something, you know, that would be the reason, you know, have Pillman come in or something towards the end after the match is over, try and help out Griff or whatever, maybe try and get one over on, you know, Malachi, and then have, you know, Brody pop up. And then start that whole thing. You have the whole have tag match with those two, and then Julia comes back, but not for the Blondes, but for the House of Black, and it would be glorious, and it would make me so happy. So happy.
Griff Garrison has just been watching too many fast movies. It's all about family.
That man needs to just stop it. That man needs to stop it.
Brian tried to help him.
He did.
Brian tried to say, brother, man, just let it go.
Brother man.
Brother man. The moment you hear that means you're doing the wrong thing. Just correct it. Hey, brother, I got you, bro. I'm going to go chill out over here in this corner. The man's not heating the brother. He's not.
He's gonna learn.
He gonna
He's
learn.
gonna
He gonna learn next week. He
He's
gonna
gonna do the
learn.
next one.
All right, touching very quickly on Hook's premiere, his debut. He had a short video package just kind of cutting together the highlights of his debut. Absolutely amazing. If you
Coolest
missed
guy at
it
AEW.
on Rampage, for those who don't know, I'm not even going to pretend like everybody knows who Hook is. Hook is Taz's son.
Looks just like him.
Real life. Son.
Real life son, not
Kurt Angle, not Kurt Angle, Jason Jordan. All right.
Yo, did you watch the match, right? Between him. Please tell me you saw this man walking down the ramp and did not see Taz's face.
I
I
loved okay, there. There's a couple things I loved about this match, and guys, I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't seen it, but just the proud fatherhood of Taz in, like, you could tell from commentary, he's standing up, he's clapping for Hook, he's just like so enthusiastic, like Hook's
deservedly so.
Like literally Hook's walking to the ring like he doesn't care, walks in, walks out like he doesn't care.
Yep.
But his father's just so proud, and it's like I feel like everybody backstage and everybody that has helped him get to this level were so proud, and you know, like go out of your way and watch. It's not a long match, but if you guys love the Taz mission finisher,
He
back,
killed
baby.
it. He killed
It's back.
his dad taught him how to put that in perfectly. Like the way he
stuck
put that
in.
Oh my god. I was like, yes, put the transmission finish. Give it. Just all the suplexes were perfect. I mean, the kid's gonna be something amazing.
I was gonna say his entrance music is Action Bronson, which, you know, close personal friend according to Taz. But either way, this kid is gonna be something. Like the way just in his debut, you can already see the superstar potential.
The thing I love so much.
Go ahead, Joker.
Just real quick, one of the things that I love about AEW, and you know, people always like, why do you like AEW? One of the things I love about AEW so much is that they blatantly have such an eye forward for the future of the business. And like, you have so many people that are under the age of 25. We can just say 25. I don't even say 30, just 25. Like you got Max, who is only like Max was born in 96. A lot of people, if you don't realize that, Dante, Hook, like there's so many young kids in this promotion that have so much room to grow, and I have such high hopes for the future just from seeing this and seeing stuff like Hook and, you know, the young, Arn Anderson's son. Like there's so many second generation, third generation talents that are here and are ready and are being cultivated in this beautiful environment where they have the Danielsons, the Punks, the Jerichos, the Dustin Rhodeses, Billy Gunn, you know, you got everybody, Moxley. I mean, you've got the whole, no matter what style of wrestling you do, you know, you got Ray Phoenix. When you got people, you know, if you want high flyers, you got Matt Seidel, you got Ray Phoenix, you got arguably hell, you can throw Fuego in there at this point. You know, you got so many guys that are amazing at so many different things, and you take all these kids, right? The Young Bucks, you got people like you got tag team specialists between Proud and Powerful. I mean, there's so much talent.
I was going to say,
there.
please don't name the whole roster.
Yeah, I know. I'm not about to sit here and name the whole
roster. He's naming the whole roster. He could go for it.
You've got everybody. You got everybody there from no matter what type of wrestling you need, and it's just something beautiful to see. I think Hook is a perfect representation of that because he has been there for a year and a half now that we've been seeing Hook on TV, and he's just been getting.
You could tell he's been training, though. You could tell from guys. I just want to reiterate this. Like, there is just some matches that you need to go and watch because we cannot do justice to it. Like Bryan versus Hangman, go watch it. You know, Serena Deeb versus Shida, go watch it.
All of them.
Hook versus Fuego, go watch it. If you want to see what a proper debut match looks like, and you want to see what a proper second generation superstar debut looks like, go watch that match. And you know, like the comment I had was that there are comparisons. Like I hate the WWE comparison to AEW, but when you have two second generation superstars and you compare them to each other in their debuts and how good they are in the ring and fluid they are in the ring, I feel like it's fair and it's open season.
Dominic Guerrero debuted. You're all like, oh man, that kid is nice. Like, he's smooth, he's crisp in the ring. Oh my God, El Rey, you've done it. And then we heard Aaliyah wanted to wrestle too. So it was like, oh, okay, great. Hook, it just was a whole other level. Like, I was not expecting what I saw.
Mm-hmm.
This Hook has been positioned with Team Taz, and hasn't relatively done very much. But walking out there on his own, Action Bronson playing in the background, man on a mission mentality, walked in there. Fuego had, like, if I could tell you squash match, I wouldn't be lying. If I could tell you squash, I wouldn't be lying, because Fuego didn't do very much in this match.
Mm-hmm.
But it's just his attitude. He just oozes superstar, and like Joker said, it makes you excited for what's next. It makes you excited for the next 4 or 5 years. It makes you excited to know that the old guard isn't going to be the centerpiece of AEW in the next 4 years. Like, WWE has to constantly bring people in from that old guard. They got to constantly bring the John Cena's back. They got to bring Triple H. They got to bring the Undertaker. They have to bring people in. Nostalgia acts pretty much.
Right.
But AEW doesn't strike me as a company that's going to rely very much on that, because they're going to be in a position to teach the next generation so that the next generation can take up that mantle. Victor says, Hook is the son of the suplex machine. Taz, what do you expect? I mean, look, Roman Reigns is the son of Alphas or Sika, whichever one of them, whichever one of the Wallace Mullins. He wasn't doing all that great a couple years ago. So the thing can't be said about every second generation superstar. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And even within AEW, Brock Anderson, you know, he's Arn Anderson's son. Arn Anderson is crazy over right now. And while Brock is not a bad wrestler, like when you watch him in the ring, you know, he is very reminiscent of his father. There is nothing about him as a superstar that really grabs people. Exactly. And really makes you pay attention. So that is something that he's going to have to work on, versus a Hook who already is very naturally charismatic. Exactly. And, you know, is walking in with, you know, not only his own swag, but whatever his dad has already put under his belt.
And didn't say a word. This is like, he didn't need.
He turned his back on this man.
Neither did Taz.
He didn't need a word. And I feel like that's that. If you take anything from your parent, and I feel like Charlotte's a really good example of this, and Braun Breaker as well is a really good example of this.
Mm-hmm.
You take one thing from your parent, you take one thing from their arsenal, and the rest is all you. If you're a second generation superstar, you take one thing. You don't take their entire gimmick and try to assimilate it into who you are. Hook is not going to be the suplex machine. He's not. Did he do a suplex in the match? Yes, he did. Was it beautiful? Yes, they were. Yes, they were. But that swagger, the confidence, the nuances of the match, that was him. And you can tell this is who he is normally, just turned up to 10. Charlotte Flair, completely amazing superstar. The only similarity to her father would be the figure 4, which she made a figure 8 and bridged a version of the figure 4, which makes it her own in some way. You know what I mean? I think that there's things to be said about young talent that realize, hey, I have a parent that was in this business, made a name for themselves, and I have to etch my name for myself. Randy Orton, third generation superstar, completely different. The only thing he does of his father is that suplex from the top. Everybody loves. That's Bob Orton. That's like constantly a thing. Oh, Cowboy Bob Orton used to do that. Like, great. Homage to his pops. But everything in his arsenal is Randy. So there's something to be said. Like, if we talk about Brock Anderson, we talk about him all day. You hit a spine buster, I'm thinking about your daddy. I'm not thinking about what makes me think about you.
And then Hobbs does a better spine buster.
Exactly. And his father's name is Glock Anderson. For those of you who don't know, Glock Anderson, that's his name.
Bang, bang, baby. All right. Moving on, because we could sit here and talk about Hook all freaking night. And I could. I really could.
Sure could.
Love that kid.
Touching very quickly on the last promo we saw, Eddie Kingston promoting a 10-man tag for Rampage, calling out 2.0 and Daniel Garcia obviously upset about last week's beatdown. It's going to be Eddie, Proud and Powerful, and the Lucha Bros versus 2.0, Daniel Garcia, and a tag team of their choice. Not sure who it's going to be. I'm sure we'll get a better look at that going into Friday night. And Eddie says he's coming directly for Garcia. So not surprising to see this. Kind of surprising they're staying away from the whole Jericho thing.
Sometimes I want to address this question here because this is a question of a troll. How would you compare Dominic to Hook to Brock Anderson? They're all second generation superstars. One, they are all fairly new to the wrestling business. They've been in it for less than 3 years. All of them. Comparable to each other. Their parents are all recognizable superstars.
Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers. Hall of Fame worthy talent. How could I not compare them to each other? It's not picking at them. Not to say that any one of them is better than the other, but it's just like the nuances of their debuts were so different.
Hook's better than both of them.
Hook is better than both of them, let's be honest. But his debut was something that stood out above their debuts, and it really solidified him as I could see him in the main event picture a lot sooner than I could see either one of these guys.
Mm-hmm.
They still need some seasoning. They still need to have their pops next to them on the sidelines. You know what I mean? But that's neither here nor there. I just wanted to address that, Elvis. Victor says, I know it's off topic, but which Steiner do you really believe is the father of Braun Baker?
Can he do math?
I don't know if y'all saw the episode of NXT when he goes, you got a 33-1 chance of getting the NXT title. Tommaso told him that, and Braun started laughing. It's not every day we break character on this show, but that it was an amazing moment.
That's hilarious.
That was a good one.
Ruben says, Eddie faced Low-Key for the House of Glory Championship last Saturday. You'll be surprised where $20 can take you. Definitely.
Yeah, that is amazing.
Huge fan of the Mad King.
All right. Also, spoilers are already out for Rampage because it was already pre-taped.
Yes.
So if you guys want to find out what happened on Rampage, just go online and the results are there. Just like the results to Spider-Man No Way Home are online.
No, I can't hear you. La, 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 la.
You will go and you will go and you will see them. But I want to see the movie, so I'm not going to sit here and tell you to actively go and spoil the movie for yourself. Please, go and watch it. Go
spoil the movie.
Pay the most you can pay for a ticket. Buy it off a scalper. Definitely go and watch the movie. For me, amazing movie.
I'm screaming. Some of these tickets I've heard are going for $10,000. That's wild.
Pollux.
Wild.
Give me a damn car with that.
Right.
Facts.
It is not that serious. It will eventually come to Disney Plus, people.
No, it's not, because it's Sony films. So none of Tom Holland's films, if you guys look at the Spider-Man films, none of Tom Holland's films
are they really licensed under Sony?
It's licensed under Sony. It's a Sony and Marvel collaboration, but Sony holds more of the, yes, Marvel holds it, but they're not letting Marvel put it on their platform. There's also The Matrix coming out on the 22nd. So guys, if you have HBO Max and you don't want to go to theater and your HBO Max is online.
Oh no, go to the theater to see this.
I'm gonna watch it at home on my big ass TV.
You a scrub.
You a scrub.
I'll be that, but I'm not trying to go to a packed ass movie theater.
I'm screaming. All right, you two, we're getting back on track for this main event.
Dante Martin beat MJF. I'm kidding.
Ha!
Never. We saw this coming. We saw it coming.
You know, I wanted to believe. I did. The only reason I wanted to believe is because, like we said, MJF was being positioned to transition into the number one contender for the title. So I was like, okay, well, if he loses, the ring, then it's not that big of a deal. But I guess with it being a one-on-one match, Max has never lost a singles match, technically, in AEW history. And unfortunately, Dante Martin was not going to be the first one to give him a loss. But this match was surprisingly good, given how we started off so strong with a 60-minute match. I was not expecting the Young Guns to pull it out the way that they did, but Max and Dante have very surprising ring chemistry. I was very pleasantly surprised to see Max is just a great spotter for him. Like a lot of these high flying moves that Dante does, Max is just always there to catch him. So I don't know. I was impressed. Joker, what are your thoughts?
I strongly despise Maxwell Jacob Friedman, but I have to respect the man as a wrestler. He is outstanding. He is the second coming of Ric Flair. Fucking fight me about it. Yeah, the guy's nuances are amazing. He always knows where to be. He sells outstanding. The way he positions himself is out. Facts.
I like that.
Yeah. Yeah, the promo that Max did before, completely just shatting all over Texas like usual, calling out Punk on his, heelness last week, and calling him Ryback was obviously hilarious. But he had Dante come out pretty early with a lot of early offense. Shout out to Max because Dante did a standing 450, which But he did a standing 450 and his knee landed straight on Max's, like right in the mush. And I felt so bad for Max because this was like really early in the match. But Max started targeting the left hand and arm. He bit him in the pinky. My review of Winter is Coming, Hangman versus Bryan should have been main event because I feel bad for the other wrestlers because I was a wrestler following Hangman and Bryan. I would have to tell Tony Khan to replace me.
Victor makes a very good point.
Yeah.
We'll get to that in just a second.
Yeah. They did the Bryan Hangman match real quick. They did the Bryan Hangman match first because they knew how the ending was going to go and it didn't want to sour the evening, which was really smart. Also, trying to have this loaded card and then have that title match at the end because while the match was amazing, I feel like Max and Dante's match was exciting enough to keep the crowd engaged at a high enough level to where it still felt like a main event, but it wasn't as exhausting as the first match because that first match was just balls to the walls the whole time for 60 straight minutes. And I'm sorry, at the end of a show like that, and I know that they did probably Elevation beforehand, going to one of these shows, you're there for 4 to 5 hours of just straight wrestling. So, like, you got to give the crowd some time, But yeah, he bit him in the pinky. It was hilarious. Then Dante pops off, dives out of every single side of the ring. It was outstanding.
Doing a different flip each time.
Every time. I think he started with, what did he start? He just straight up just jumped over the ropes and did a crossbody onto him the first time. Then the second time he did a tope suicida. Then the third time he did like some kind of weird backflip thing out the outside. And then another time he did a tope con hilo over the turnbuckle. So he was on the outside of the ring, did a tope over the turnbuckle onto Max on the outside. The guy can go 150 miles an hour for so long, and it's amazing. Dante's conditioning is
ridiculous.
It's ridiculous. No one should be able to go as fast as he is able to go for so long. Then they just had a crazy flurry of offense back and forth for the duration of the match. Nobody was really in charge for too long to say anybody had an edge over the other. And then, Dante finally hit him with that nosedive, which is his double springboard moonsault. But he was too close to the ropes, and our good buddy Ricky Starks came in for the save to save Max's buns once again.
Hooked Max's foot onto the ropes, called the attention to Bryce. Of course, Bryce tried to prove whether Max put his foot on the ropes or not, but couldn't really say one way or the other. But enough to shake things up. MJF transitions into the Salt of the Earth.
Yep.
And that's the victory right there. Your 3-time and only Dynamite Diamond champion.
Wait till he gets that championship belt. He's gonna be so insufferable. Like, it's gonna be terrible.
This ring is a part of Max. This ring is a part of his character. He's made it part of his character. In the promo
Exactly.
material, he's always like kissing his ring. He's using it in the matches. I felt like going into this match, they did a really good job of making you believe that Dante had a chance. They did an amazing job of making you believe that Dante was going to take this Dynamite Diamond ring away from MJF. And just in terms of AEW just being consistent with their booking. Last week, Dante betrayed Team Taz. This week, FTW champ Ricky Starks comes out. Absolute Ricky Starks comes out and cost him essentially a match, which I'm hoping leads to a match between Dante and Absolute Ricky Starks, which is the best place that they're going. Hopefully they're going in that direction, and having Dante feud with Team Taz for a little bit and just get the rub from them, because Ricky Starks is amazing on the mic, amazing in the ring, smooth.
Great guy.
Smooth.
I'd be all about it.
I'll be all about that. But MJF holding this, it just gives him something to hold on to. If you're gonna go the route of Punk winning over him and going on to face Hangman Page and saying I got first and you got next, I feel like you needed him to have this. Now, if he dropped the Dynamite Diamond ring, then we could figure that he was going to go over Punk. But you never know. Maybe AEW books him to still go over Punk and verse Hangman Page at Revolution. So you never know with these things, but I hope either way we get a finish. We get a straight finish. Like I said, I'd rather see Ricky Starks versus Shawn Spears.
I think that would be a great match. It would just be interesting how to align the two of them together for a match, because obviously they're both heels right now. Ricky Starks just helped MJF, retain the Dynamite Diamond ring. So I think that would be a great match, but it would have to be after Ricky eventually leaves Team Taz and has his face turn. Because I don't see Shawn going face anytime soon.
No.
I
was just gonna say, it's at the end of at the end, everybody comes out. They're proud of Max. The Pinnacle starts walking out. You have FTR come out. Lights go out, and then you got Darby and Sting there because of the beef that they had from Rampage. But I would like to circle back to something that Victor said, which is exactly that. I was expecting the Briscoes to be in the ring when the lights came back on, since FTR was at ROH on Saturday. Okay, so me and Divine watched last battle, final battle, sorry, the last Ring of Honor pay-per-view for this year, and until they come back from hiatus, hopefully. I was kind of hoping for the Briscoes to come out because they've already FTR. For those of you who don't know, FTR did attack the Briscoes. The Briscoe brothers being lifelong Ring of Honor guys, they've been there since the beginning. And if this was the end of it, they were there for the end. They were the tag team champions, I think, 18 times in Ring of Honor.
Take that, New Day.
They are right. They are if you've never seen the Briscoes, go check them out. They are.
Go check out them boys.
Them boys, man.
Them boys.
Go check out them boys, because if you want to see some crazy people doing some crazy, amazing wrestling, check out the Briscoes. We know that's going to happen at some point, but I was really hoping that it was the Briscoes, because seeing FTR and the Briscoes on Saturday, just like my mouth started salivating at the wrestling possibilities. I was so ready. But I mean, I'm cool with, the Sting and Darby thing, but I definitely want to see.
Well, I think it ties into what's about to be happening. Obviously, there's some beef between FTR and Darby and Sting. Obviously CM Punk and MJF are set to go at it. So I think that this fits what's going on right now. I think AEW has been very strategic about their debuts up to this point. And I think that a visit from the Briscoes is in the future. I just don't know if tonight would have been the right night to pull the trigger on that personally.
I think you could do that at a Revolution. I think that do it where it counts.
Mm-hmm.
You can't give everything away on free TV. They gave us like Winter is Coming is sort of like a pay-per-view-esque match to end off the year for AEW.
It is a TV pay-per-view.
Exactly. So
like Fyter
with
Fest.
the main of like the I'm gonna say the main event being the first match, being the initial main event of the night, with Danielson, Hangman. I think they gave us more than enough for the night, like in terms of like really great quality professional wrestling. Now, overkill is a thing. Giving somebody too much is a thing. You know, like don't give everything you have in your bag of tricks away all at once. It doesn't make it entertaining. It makes you look kind of uninteresting. Like I wouldn't want to give everything away. You know what I mean? So save this for something like Revolution. Like save this for something like next year where you could get a huge pop out of it and potentially have a better storyline set up for the Briscoes. Like Victor says, I think they're setting up a match, Battle of the Belts, FTR versus the Briscoes. That would be amazing. Throw GOD in there. Throw GOD in there. Throw other tag teams in there from across the multiverse of professional wrestling. Like
because you can't do that.
Exactly. Let's have a reunion of the North in freaking AEW. Let's do that. Like, you know, like let's fantasy book this. Let's fantasy book this crap. But the
chaos in there. Let's go.
Chaos. Exactly. There are just so many possibilities with AEW, and because that forbidden door is constantly swinging open, and now because Ring of Honor is on hiatus until April, we could see matches like this, and it will be amazing. So, just save some things. You know, like I wouldn't have wanted, say for instance tonight, Johnny Gargano debuted on AEW. I wouldn't have been happy with it. I feel like it would have been out. The beginning of the show would have outshone that. You know, you don't want anything to outshine new people coming in to your company.
Right.
You don't want anything to outshine them. And the way the card was booked, the way that everything went tonight, that spot alone of debuting Guerrillas of Destiny, not Guerrillas of Destiny, but the Briscoes would have fell flat. I'm thinking of GOD right now because I want to see them go at the Briscoes again. I want to see that match again.
SOS for me.
I'm excited to see the Briscoes. You know, I don't have as much experience with their full time in Ring of Honor, but everything that I've seen of them up until now has been super interesting. And the fact that they pit them against FTR almost immediately, like that was shocking to me. You know, just during the pay-per-view, that like, oh, bam, they're going at it. So I'm here for it. Guess we'll just have to wait and see.
Ruben said the best, too much of a good thing ain't really a good thing. In terms of discussion, you are right.
Can't have too much cake. You get a stomach ache.
Oh man.
I love cake. Why you gotta bring cake into it?
I know, right?
But you still get a stomach ache if you eat too much.
You're just weak.
Pace yourself. You don't eat all of it.
I know I'm fragile. Okay.
It's just the lactose, baby. It's okay.
Yeah.
On that note, everybody, that is everything that took place. AEW Dynamite, Garland, Texas. Winter is coming.
It came.
Well.
Pause.
I'm 12. Sorry. Anyway, I'm Divine Intervention. This is All Elite Joker. The administrator, always great to see you.
Thank you so much for having me, guys. Pleasure.
Oh,
I'm going to get people to say baby after All Elite Joker.
For unpopular review, have a great night, everybody. Oh,
wait. Nasty Canada. Thank you for your last minute question over YouTube. Do you think AEW female wrestlers are fully...
We're not answering that.
Good night, everybody.
From unpopular review, good night.
Good night, everyone. God damn it. Last question. Damn it.